Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here, aka Nick. It is 8:33 a.m. EST. Started a couple minutes late here. That's okay. We had some data come out, so that might be affecting things a little bit. But look, today's going to be slow, most likely. We have a Thanksgiving coming up. The market's more or less going to be closed. It's going to be closed tomorrow. It'll be half day on Friday, so probably not going to see a lot of action next couple of days. So we're just going to go over some charts and talk about whatever data came out, and we'll go from there. Not a lot of movement on the NASDAQ due to the data. I could zoom in a little bit to see how it was affected, but in the end, we're looking at what appears to be a possible rejection. We're going to take a look deeper into the algos and see if that's going to be the case. But if I look real close, say at the 5-minute chart, we just this is the futures market, so that might not be affected right away. It might take a little time for this to show up on the chart. So we'll come back and take a look at that. But that's the 5-minute chart, right? So this is going back to yesterday, and price is steadily just kind of stair-stepping down after making a high here overnight, right about midnight. So that's on the NASDAQ itself. The data that just came out, let's see here. Okay, so it was the unemployment claims. Let's go ahead and refresh. And it looks like there were less claims than expected, but not very much. So the information is more or less of a nothing burger. Basically, it's not bad news, right? It's a kind of sort of good news, if you will. If I were to go over to the FX market, you would be able to see that in a bit more of a pronounced way, where the dollar got a little bit stronger, apparently, based on that news. Possibly, this is the 5-minute chart. Really, the only way to look at this right now is the 1-minute chart. So let's do that. And yeah, over the past several minutes, either the euro got weaker or the dollar got stronger. And so definitely living in this weird kind of paradigm where the dollar is now getting stronger based on good news. It used to be the opposite because of rate cut expectations. But a lot of things are moving in ways that are just really difficult to predict and understand right now. Hence, some of the reason that our deeper information has been a little bit harder to get these days, because things are just not making as much sense on, say comparing one asset to another. Why is it moving this way, etc. Now, one thing that will make a lot of sense in a way is looking at the charts and just using the algos. That's the best way to trade, in my opinion, anyway. And so if you're going to be a trader, you're going to be an investor, it's another story. But I guess we'll start over on Bitcoin. I know a lot of people probably want to see what's going on with that. So far, it does look like Bitcoin is not able to make it above 80,000, 88,000, that is. So price made its way up. There was a bounce, and I did call to Algo Factory, right? Maybe, I don't know, within a few hours of this bounce, that it probably would make its way between 86 and 88. And it actually peaked out Monday, midday, at about 89,000. And it looks like it's starting to reject. It may not reject, we'll see. But if I were to just dig into the charts here, it really could. I think it's going to follow the path that I drew, really, where if I just zoom out a bit, you'll see where I think the most likely path might be this. It really depends on what happens with the rest of the market, though. We're in December. If we see a Santa rally, then yeah, I think Bitcoin's going to go sideways in the 80K range. Might dip down into the 70s to scare some people out. But what I don't want to say, what I don't want to try and do is give hope that we're going to see another all-time high, or even to see price go above 100,000 again for the next few years. It may. It's possible. I see things in the in the indicators and algorithms that make that possible, right? But the evidence continues to mount that the bull market is over. So we'll see. And at this point, the real key data is going to be really simple. It's going to be whether or not price is broken at certain levels. And right now, price can't even stay above 90,000, right? It tried to rally above 90, and it got rejected and is continuing down. And as far as I can tell, it's going to continue down for the moment. Now, the way I put it to the Algo Factory members yesterday was that basically this high 80s is probably going to end up being basically a range. It might not be as clean as what I just drew this box here, but price is probably going to rotate in this area, or maybe that, or something along these lines, maybe. Right? We don't know exactly yet, but this evidence seems to be mounting that we're going to see 85.5 to maybe 88. Right? We'll see. And whichever way it pops from there is going to tell us a lot. And there is that possibility that price can pop above, and however it behaves at the end of this range might tell us a bit. It's real tricky times though. It's tricky times in general. So let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Just at not a lot going on here, even after the initial information came out. I am on a data delay here. I'm not using the data. Let's see. This world market is open. 8 okay, market data delay 10 minutes. So we'll know here in a few minutes how the NASDAQ reacted. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Let's move down to the forex market. The USD JPY has popped up a little bit. It's starting to pop back down. And just looking at the way that the charts are stacked, again, this really could go either way. But I think that as the day moves forward, we're going to see this possibly, possibly kind of head up a little bit and then slow down. There's a fair amount of resistance. So if I were just to look at the half-hour chart, just to kind of map out how the day might go, I don't expect anything very clean today. Perhaps a range develops, or just some kind of sideways chop, and that's going to be most of the market. In this case, something along like these lines, and then maybe like this. So eventually there should be some kind of rejection as the 3-hour tops out, and we get some liquidity up here above in this area right here. Right. So there's a good chance we'll see a rejection right there, as price grinds up and to the right. And then that'll be that for that. Now, the forex market does remain open the next couple of days, morning Miko, but it'll probably be slow. Probably won't be much going on. Might get a little action today, Friday, tomorrow. Excuse me. Sorry. Tomorrow, outside of US pairs, you might see something, right? But even the move that we just saw up in the USD JPY is already starting to reject downwards. You can see it on the screen with this candle and this wick here, or if I zoom in a bit, you'll see it on the low time frame chart, the 1 minute chart there. You'll see that it's already starting to get sold right off. Nice move up and a sell off, right? And that's right below that box that I just drew. So there it is. Let's take a look at the euro. Opposite is happening. Euro got pushed down by what looks to be strong dollar information. I think what's really happening is that the dollar is just getting stronger in general. So before the data comes out, a lot of money is sitting on the sidelines. And that's why I think we see the dollar getting stronger as the data comes out. It does appear that the euro, let's take a brief look at the algos. I wonder if this one's going to want to continue up. Yeah, there is some reason for the euro to actually continue up today. We might see that. I'm seeing a little bit more data that supports a move up. So if I were to map it out on the 30-minute, again, it'll probably be this kind of, situation here, and then eventually a slight move up. So, I mean, look, if you're scalping, there might be opportunities. Just be really careful on a day like this. A lot of stop runs, a lot of funkiness, and a lot of people not participating. So it's not going to be, I don't think, a very clean day to trade. Low time frame moves are what matters. V the Gorilla is here with us. How are you, sir? You're on mute, firstly, and secondly, all we see is a room. I see an empty room for you.
Because I am the empty room.
You're invisible. You're an invisible gorilla.
I am. That's why you
Nice.
see the room, which coincidentally is the same interior designer as yours.
Yeah. You had Theo come by. I get it.
Yes.
I don't know. I just wanted to choose the gayest name. So let's look at the data started to hit my chart. So yeah, the actual so the NASDAQ is actually seeing a sell-off as a result of that data. So I do think that we're going to see a hard time. We're going to see NASDAQ having a hard time breaking above 25,235. So if I were to zoom out and kind of map that out for you on a little bit higher of a time frame, yeah, I think for the meantime or whatever for the moment, I think the NASDAQ's probably going to reject, as I sort of predicted with the title of this show right here. I think the rejection is going to happen at about 25,240, and price is probably going to grind down. It might be hard. It might not be hard. I mean, look, the market's going to slow down. And again, like I said, there's not a lot of people in the market right now. Miko says, got a nice long on Germany 40 today on Oanda. Get a quick look, please. Scout view, please. I think you mean the DAX. My data is the problem with Scout View on this is that I don't have up-to-date data. So Scout View is not going to help you. Sorry. But I'll give you a view that's 10 minutes behind. I don't really trade this very actively at all. So if I were DAX, yeah, there's some pressure, but you're gonna be like there's upward pressure. Price kind of it wants to go up, but you're gonna have to be real careful with that because it's already gone up a lot, and you're from a structural standpoint, you're right out of resistance. So if you're long right now, at least based on what I'm seeing here on the charts, you're right at where price has rejected twice on like in the last few hours, like going back to midnight. So if you're long, you're trading into structure. So yeah. And if you got long earlier, that's different. But I would be out now if I were long. And then I would look to get back in if price broke above, let's see here. Price broke above like 23.6. There might be a place to get back in, maybe. But you're counting on price breaking out of a range. And as slow as today is, I would not anticipate breakouts today. I'd wait for that breakout and do it that way. Good. All right. Well, we are now at the end of the free, YouTube. Everybody can see it live lab. And I didn't hear any complaints about the noise today. And I also did some adjustments. I know that my, and please leave comments in the comments section as to whether or not the voice is lining up with like my mouth, because there was a delay in that. And I know what the problem is, and I think I addressed it properly, but please leave your comments. And otherwise, V the Gorilla, can you get us out of here, sir?
Yeah, guys, before you stuff your turkey on Thanksgiving, and before you eat all the fixins, join Algo Factory. Because you want to make next Thanksgiving even better. Because you want to trade like a hedge fund pro. Because we are better than cranberry sauce. Just want to let you know that. And we're better and sweeter than pumpkin pie. That is no lie. We keep you more full than turkey, or perhaps even a roast beef. Don't creep. Just join our website. Sign up today and trade. That's all I got.
That's freestyle, V.
I don't know what that is, bro.
It's a freestyle.
That's off the tap with just a few sips of coffee.
Okay. It's a freestyle because nobody pay for it. No, just kidding.
Nobody wants to pay for it.
I was just joking. Never forget.
Join us or die.